Let's go. Wait, ready? Oh, hey there. If you don't make a mess, you're doing it wrong. I'm obsessed. Incredible. I know. I love you too. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode where we are diving deep into exactly how to create the most scrumptious, chewy, fudgy, delicious oat fudge bars. So if you don't know oat fudge bars, let me just give you like a little tiny bit of history. Starbucks used to make this bar, and it was basically like thick oatmeal cookie bars, and in the middle was this big layer of soft fudge. These bars were absolutely incredible. But then for some reason in 2019, they stopped selling them, so you can no longer get these oat fudge bars. But they're such a cult classic that a lot of people have tried to recreate them, and that's exactly what we've done. Let's talk about what it takes to make these absolutely delicious bar beauties. We have butter, brown sugar, white sugar, all-purpose flour, oats, and then some baking powder and baking soda. Oh yeah, and vanilla, obviously. Was that my phone? Oh yeah, it was totally my phone. Shh. Okay, and then for the fudge bar component, we just have three things. We're gonna do some sweetened condensed milk, a little bit of butter, and some chocolate chips. Let's get started. You know what? I have an idea. I wanna show you guys how I line my pans. These oat fudge bars go in this 8x8 baking pan. I absolutely love the 8x8 and the 9x9 USA pans. So I like them so much because they have this really beautiful tall side. Some pans, especially like glass pans, will kind of have like a side that slants out a little bit, and this is a really nice tall side. Maybe you can see best like this way. It's a very sharp edge here too, so you just get like a really beautiful edge to your bars. I'm going to line this pan with, oh no, they're falling out. I'll show you. I'm gonna line these with parchment paper sheets. I'm gonna take two of those, sort of eyeball, and you don't have to be super precise. You just wanna get it the width of the pan. And oh my God, because we cut two, flip that baby over, and now we have a perfectly lined pan. Look at that, amazing. To make these bars, we're gonna start out with a half stick of room temperature butter. The temperature of your butter really matters when you're baking, because if I were to use, let's say, cold butter in this recipe, the butter wouldn't mix into any of these things. We can't have that. If I were to use melted butter in this recipe, the cookie dough that we're creating, it would be softer, wetter, and even more compact and dense. And for these bars, we want them to have a little bit of a lift to them. We still want them to be like chewy and cookie doughy, but if we do room temperature butter like we have here, we're gonna get this really beautiful combination of soft and chewy bars, but also that have a little bit of a lift to them because our butter currently has air incorporated into it. It's nice and beautiful and delicious. As we put in things like our half cup of granulated sugar, oh goodness me, it's a little humid in here. Well, and our quarter cup of brown sugar, we are going to be able to further aerate and create structure in this dough. We're gonna mix this for like 2 minutes. It's also gonna help those sugar granules to just ever so slightly dissolve, and that's really lovely because it's just gonna make the whole bar be like a little bit more silky smooth and absolutely delicious. Okay, so here's what we can see. It's kind of like whipped cream, you know? Like it has structure. Delish. So now we're gonna add a room temperature egg, some vanilla. We always measure vanilla with a heart, so this is just gonna go in until we feel like it. Maybe it's 2 teaspoons, maybe it's a tablespoon. I don't really know. It looks like it was about 2 teaspoons, but yeah. Oh, let me talk to you guys about this hand mixer I'm using. A lot of people ask me, Sarah, why are you using a hand mixer? Why don't you use a stand mixer? Really, it's just because when I use a hand mixer, you can see it better. And when I use a stand mixer, it's harder for you guys to see in. Hold on, let me turn this off, then I'll talk. If a stand mixer is not in your budget, an electric hand mixer is a great replacement. And this one I love because it's cordless. So this is from KitchenAid. This is just so fun because you can like go all around with it, you know? You're not tethered by the cord. We are going to add in our flour. This is 1 cup of spoon and leveled all-purpose flour. And then I have a half teaspoon of baking soda, a quarter teaspoon of baking powder, and then a half teaspoon of salt. And then I'm gonna take my spatula and I'm just sort of gonna incorporate very slightly before we mix the rest of our batter. And then I am also going to take 1 cup of old-fashioned oats. Oh my God, let's talk about oats for a second. So, old-fashioned oats are the typical oats that are used in baking. Instant oats are basically like a paper-thin version of old-fashioned oats. They absorb water much more quickly. That's really good if you wanna have like oatmeal in a jiff or something like that. But when it comes to putting instant oats in baking, they're going to get overhydrated and they're almost gonna be like more mealy. And we don't want mealy oats in our recipe. We want our oats to have a little bit of a chew to them and a little bit of structure. So that's why you wanna go for old-fashioned oats. Quaker, done. That's what we're doing. You really wanna make sure you're mixing as little as possible because you don't wanna overwork your dough. And we wanna keep our dough chewy and soft and melt in your mouth delicious. So that is what we're aiming for here. Just a few more mixes. Okay, I do wanna just taste like a little bit. I love oat dough. Oats are that perfect transition into fall. Kind of like sweater weathery, you know? You guys know that SNL skit, sweater weather? Okay, cool. Camera crew's like, yeah, we know. I'm gonna set this aside and then we are going to make our fudge layer and then we're gonna put it all together. Now let's make our fudge layer. Okay, so this is gonna be super, super simple. We're literally going to combine a half a cup of sweetened condensed milk with a half cup of chocolate chips. I'd recommend bittersweet just to cut the sweetness a teensy bit, and then 1 tablespoon of butter. Put this on the stove until it melts. It's gonna take maybe like 2 minutes. Doesn't it look good? I'm so tempted to just put this over ice cream. I bet that would actually be delicious, but we're not. We're putting it in our bars, which will be even more delicious. This is a janky little kitchen setup and I love it. Okay, let's put our bars together. I'm gonna take just about half of our cookie dough and I'm gonna put this down into our tray. Because this is a pretty stiff dough, I'm gonna take another sheet of parchment paper to squish this dough down. And then I'm gonna take the bottom of this measuring cup. It can be anything that has a flat bottom. Make it even more even. Okay, and now peel off this parchment paper. And now we have a perfectly even and flat layer of cookie dough. Now we're gonna take our fudge and we're gonna put it into our bars. Ooh. Take that fudge and you're just gonna spread it all along the edge of your pan. Ooh, I'm getting so excited. We're gonna top this off with one final layer of our oatmeal cookie dough. Squish it into these little pancaked cookie-like things. You really want it to be like a little bit organic and like have fun with it. It's really nice to see the fudge sort of seep out in between these little pieces of dough. All right, so we have our oatmeal fudge bars ready to go. These bars are going to go into a 350-degree oven, anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. What we're looking for is for the cookie dough itself on top, just to get the slightest bit golden brown. We don't want it to be any more gold than that, or the bars are gonna get a little too overcooked. So let's do it. Oh my goodness. This looks absolutely perfect. I don't like cutting into these until they're like room temperature because we don't want that fudge to seep out. Put that baby into the fridge if you really want a nice, even layer of fudge. I'm so excited. I feel like I want to eat these with like a latte or a cappuccino. You know, just like an ode to the Starbucks original. Here we go. Look at that. Oh my God. The perfect ribbon of fudge. I'm obsessed. It's time to try the fruits of our labors. Cheers. Oh my God. I almost feel like I'm eating an oatmeal chocolate chip cookie and a glass of chocolate milk at the same time. The fudge is so soft and it's really milky, and the oats have that nice little bit of chew from those old-fashioned oats, so we still have a little bite in them. I also love that you get the same dough on the bottom and the top. So even though it looks like you did all this work, you just made one dough and decided to throw it all together. These are so good for all of your sweater weather fall needs. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you want to get the full recipe, it's down below in the show notes. As always, like, comment, subscribe. That's the most helpful thing you can do to keep this series going. Thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see you next week for another phenom baking recipe. Oh, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. All right, bye guys. Oh, hey there. Today we are making maple pumpkin scones. They are so moist. It's all about getting these little laminated sheets. Beautiful. Oh my God, I didn't put sugar in. Work this together. I'm using my hands. Oh, guys, let it flow. Oh my God.